Welcome to this edition of EMU Today TV. We're so pleased that you're able to join us. Sit back and relax and enjoy the conversation with my very special guest and co-host on her final show, Miss Alexis Barron. How are you?
I'm good. I'm just a little bit sad. It's the last episode. Yeah.
Well, hopefully it's been a great experience for you.
It's been a wonderful experience.
All right,
yeah.
It's been a wonderful experience having you as well. This is our very last show for this academic year, and we always focus on EMU alumni. So I'm so very pleased to welcome Mr. Anthony Tomey, and he graduated several years ago from Eastern Michigan University. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me, guys. I'm really excited to talk with you guys today.
Yeah, we're so glad to have you. You are a former Eastern Michigan University baseball player and a former Detroit Tiger as well.
That is correct. I graduated 03, won the MAC championship in 03 as well. Drafted by Detroit that very summer, and ended up playing 6.5 years with them, all the way to 2008, and it was an unbelievable experience.
And before we get into your business experience, talk about your experience here at Eastern as a student.
Great experience here at Eastern. I came in, I'm a local guy, came from Farmington Hills, Michigan, Detroit Catholic Central High School, and was excited to be here and just kind of get away from from my parents and the house and everything. And EMU definitely developed me into the man I am today, I believe. I came in and I had a really good high school. I came here and did really well in school, even though my focus was really pretty much on baseball. But I mean, the classes, I just kept on getting better and better, and the teachers were amazing here. Business school especially. Business school is where I really took off, and things really just flourished for me from there.
And how did you go from playing professional baseball to now you're the second largest franchise owner for Jimmy John's?
Correct. Well, in 2003 we bought the first store in Novi, Michigan. We bought it there, so we had the stores while I was playing. And then in 2008, I had to make a decision of, do I keep playing? I was in the borderline of AAA right there, ready to go up, or do I expand the business? And it was a family business. We had my brother, my sister, my father, and my uncle were involved. And we were stationary at 3 stores, and we're like, do we stay at 3, 4, 5 stores, or do we kind of just blow this up? And I really couldn't move at that point unless I did it, because my sister was still in college, my brother was in high school, and we really had to make a choice. And we just said, I'm going to go ahead and retire from baseball and go full-fledged into sandwiches. So that's what we did.
Yeah.
That's what we did.
So going back a little bit into your experiences as a student, what was it like being a student athlete particularly? Was it challenging at all?
Yes, it definitely was. I mean, we had to, there's 24 hours in the day, and you just have to fit in school, class itself, practice and/or games, travel, and you have to study at some point as well. You have to do your homework, you have to do essays, you have to do projects, meet with group members, and it's not an easy thing to be like, well, I have 2 hours I can meet with you guys. Otherwise, so and being away during the season, you're out in different states, different areas, you're on buses. Cell phones weren't as prevalent back then. I think a couple guys, I had one, a couple guys had them, but we weren't able to communicate as easily or as well. No emails on our phones or anything like that. So it was just a little bit more difficult time to be able to communicate with everybody, but we made it happen. A couple crazy stories. I think my second week here, Coach Roger Coryell, God rest his soul, he came in and he sat in my class with me. I was like, what's this guy doing here? And he shows up and he makes me sit in the front seat with him, and go. And I said, what happened, Coach? Why are you here? And he's like, well, you got a D on your first test. I said, yeah, I'll be all right. And he's like, no, I'm going to make sure that you sit here every single day in this first row, every single class you go to, and I'm going to come check up on you and make sure you're doing well in school. And that kind of just turned it for me. It's like, well, I have to do this, obviously. And I came in, and every day I sat in the front row of all my classes, and that just kind of carried me on through Eastern. I never sat in the back. I never, I just did what I had to do and made sure I did well and went from there.
That's really awesome.
Yeah.
That's dedication right there.
It was surprising to, for sure, but at the same time, once you leave, when you come into college, you're free, right? You can go and do whatever. No one tells you to go to sleep. No one tells you where to eat, what to do, how to do things. And the first couple weeks or month, you're just like, man, I'm doing whatever I want. And sometimes you need someone to bring you back down to earth and say, hey,
exactly.
Lock in, you're a student athlete, student first, athlete second, you're not that cool, you go ahead and do this and you go to school and do well, and that's going to carry you on the rest of your life, not baseball or any other sport you're going to. So,
Do you have any specific advice for any current student athletes?
yeah, I mean, definitely. I mean, work hard. I've never had anything, nothing's ever been given to me or to anyone that I know. So work hard. Go into school, do your thing. Go into the gym. Go into wherever sport you're playing, and work hard. You only have a few short years to do this. Not everybody's able to go and play professionally or go to the next level of any sort, and no one can ever take away your degree. That will take you on wherever you go in life, and people just need to understand that. Like, you know, when you come out of high school, you're like, oh, I'm the hot shot. I'm coming in. I'm going to be this and this and this, and then you put yourself in a reality check, because every level you go to in life, you're great, right? You're great in this little pond, and the pond just gets bigger, and it becomes a lake and then an ocean. And so you have, you know, when you get to that place, you're humbled. They put you in your spot, and you're like, okay, well, I'm good, but they're really good as well. And you go to the next level, you play professionally. Like, I was the best here at Eastern. Boom, I'm just as average as everybody else at playing ball, pro ball. So it just kind of puts you in your place. But no one can ever take away your degree from you and what you've done, and no one can get into your brain. So you just have to utilize that and go from there with it.
Yeah. So how did you prepare yourself? Like, I'm about to graduate, and people keep asking me, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? How did you prepare yourself for that post-graduation life?
Well, I mean, you know, we had talked, my father and I had talked. My dad is a numbers genius. He's pretty much a human calculator, and he was like, I need you to, what do you want to do after school? And I'm like, I'm going to play baseball. I'm like, well, no, in reality, what are you going to really do? And I'm like, I'm going to play baseball, Dad. And he's like, well, okay, let's find something else to do as well. So we ended up opening up the Jimmy John's, and opened our first store in 2003. So I was running that stuff, you know, from home. I had, you know, my uncle was running the stores, my dad was doing stuff, but like it was only the three of us. My brother was literally barely in high school, and my sister was in college at Michigan State. So I was doing all that stuff while playing ball, which is kind of what I was doing at Eastern. I was a student athlete. I was doing school this way. I was doing it the other way around. So it worked well. I mean, we just kind of kept on growing and growing and growing, and then we went to 3 stores when I retired, to 24 stores 10 years later, and then I doubled up to 50 stores this past year. So.
Yeah. And talk to us about, let's look at the business side for a moment. How did Eastern prepare you for that business that you're currently in? What were some of the concepts, obviously not a great level of detail, but just some of the very basic things that you learned as a student that you're currently using now as a business professional?
I mean, the biggest thing is time management. You know, like people are not able, I work with a lot of people that are not organized, not able to go from A to B to C to D all the way through. That's one of the biggest things I had to do at Eastern. Taught me that, because I did have other things to do besides go to class all day. I had class, I had practice, I had this, I had to go on social outings, do whatever I had to do. But now I am literally, boom, on a schedule. I can get everything done at all times. And that was probably the biggest thing, because I was always just able just to kind of freelance and do whatever I wanted. And now it's just like, boom, you have to get things done. And if you don't, then you're behind. And once you're behind, you're always behind. And Eastern definitely taught me that you had to get ahead of the game, and everything will go fine from there.
I definitely agree. Time management is way more important to just building like a life skill than people think, because you have, like you had practice, classes, social life. To balance all of those things, you need to really mark it down into like an algorithm.
Help, definitely,
Yeah.
100%.
So
100%.
I've got kind of an interesting question about kind of graduating again. A lot of people will say that college is the best years of your life, like hands down. Do you agree with that?
I mean, definitely. I mean, I had a great time here at school. I met so many great friends. I still have many great friends from my college years. So many connections, and you know, in life, you can learn everything you want in college. You can be the smartest person in your whole entire college. But at the end of the day, it's about connections and networking. It's who you know, not what you know sometimes. And you have to have a balance of both. Don't get me wrong. You can't, you know, you have to have some knowledge. But at the end of the day, Eastern has definitely connected me to many different avenues in life, different people. You know, throughout my whole life. I mean, not that I have a really long life. I'm 38, but I mean, I'm getting up there a little bit. And so, even from my high school, even from that, I still have connections through that. So it's everyone you meet, and that's really the biggest thing you can do in life, is anyone you know, because that leads you to this and to this and to this, and then different avenues in life bring you to where you are today. So.
Yeah, and I think you are the second largest franchisee in the entire system, is that right?
Correct.
And you have, I believe, 50 locations, primarily in Metro Detroit, or are they across the state of Michigan? Where
All Metro Detroit.
All Metro Detroit.
Correct.
Talk to us about, from a business standpoint, running a business of 50 restaurants.
It's tough. It is tough. I mean, at the end of the day, finding employees is very hard right now at this point, and we just want to keep working hard and just keep good service, good customer service, obviously, and treat your people well, and they will always come back and treat you well as well.
Well, Anthony, Tomey, we appreciate you. Thank you very much for spending your time with us and sharing your experience here at Eastern Michigan.
Thank you guys for having me, and I really appreciate you bringing me on the show today.
And my pleasure. We have Jaden Shorts, who's going to be talking to us about women's basketball and gymnastics. And by the way, recently the men's track team came in second, and the women most recently won the Mid-American Conference.
March and at universities across the country, that means championship time. Two of Eastern Michigan's teams in the thick of title chases are gymnastics and women's basketball. We spoke to the head coach of our gymnastics team, one of her athletes, and the women's basketball coach to find out more about these programs that too often fly under the radar. Let's take a look.
I think the key to winning the MAC is going out there and just being us, and what we do in the gym every day in practice is so awesome, and they're so talented, they're so confident in the gym, and being able to go out there and just relax and have fun.
I think the key to winning the MAC is our confidence and going in and knowing that all our training has led us to be exactly where we're supposed to be, and that we're going to peak at the exact right time.
It's about mental toughness, knowing that they're prepared and capable of going out there and achieving their best on that day.
I am a nursing major. My ultimate goal is to first just become an RN, so get that bachelor's of nursing, and then ultimately I want to go back and get my master's degree to become a nurse practitioner.
We really instill that academics is the #1 priority, and then gymnastics. So I think making sure that they're a well-rounded individual, academics, gymnastics, social life, family life. We try and create a family culture here.
When I step on that mat, I also think about my team. In high school and throughout my whole life, it's more of just an individual sport, but when you get to college, it's much more a team atmosphere. Another really awesome thing about gymnastics is all the life skills that you learn, and I use those every day.
Oh, there's so many things that I love about coaching. The relationships that I gain with each and every one of my athletes from the first year that I started coaching till now, it's been incredible. Also, one of my favorite things about coaching is watching them come in as freshmen and mature throughout the 4 years and become beautiful young women and succeed after college.
Especially this year, I feel like I've grown to become a better leader, especially because I'm focusing just on bars right now, that I can sit back and look at everyone and be there when they need someone to talk to, or just be there to give them confidence.
Confidence!
It's part of having a young group as a coach is exciting because you get to do a lot of teaching and you get to see a lot of growing, but there are some growing pains, if you will. We're a very athletic group. We got a lot of talent, a lot of depth, a group that can really play fast, get up and down, really can create problems for you defensively because of our speed, because of our size. And I think that leads to an exciting brand of basketball. We're going to play a lot of man-to-man defense. We're going to cause a lot of chaos. And then hopefully that chaos results in some turnovers, which leads to transition basketball. This is the time of year where you really want to be clicking on all cylinders and be the best version of yourself. There's so much at stake in so many different ways. As long as you're playing your best version of basketball right now and moving forward, that's really what it's all about. It's almost palpable. You know, you can really sense it, you can feel it. You know, when you turn on Sports Center, you can see all the conference standings for all the leagues across the country because you know what it means and what it leads to in terms of postseason play and conference tournament play. And that's really where the magic happens, if you will. When these guys leave here after 4 years, a lot of their memories are going to be like, remember that time in March when we went on a streak and we did this and we did that. So that's what we're trying to create now. We want to make sure academically they are going through the process and not just getting a degree, but getting an education and getting a foundation that's going to allow them to be successful in the real world. There's a lot of parts to it. The thing is that a lot of them work hand in hand. I think the more successful they are in the classroom, the more successful they tend to be on the court. The more they can mature socially, the more they can mature on the court because they understand big picture concepts, being selfless, understand the importance of true discipline and going the extra mile. Every senior we've had has graduated and they are doing well. Some are coaching, some are teaching, some are accountants. So it's nice to see them come back and see them walk in and be really proudful of what Eastern Michigan has done for them and how their experience here is now helping them be successful in the real world.
Okay, 8-7.
Website to keep up with all of our sports. I'm Jaden Shorts, and this is EMU Today.
Thank you, Jaden Shorts, for that report on the women's basketball and gymnastics team. We're very proud of all the things that they're doing as well. And welcome back, and we're spending this episode focusing on EMU alums. We have another very special guest, Mr. Eric Brown, one of our distinguished alums. Eric, thanks for joining us.
Oh, thanks for having me, Mark and Alexis.
And tell us, what did you get your degree in from Eastern Michigan?
I get in health administration.
Health administration.
Yes.
And as a distinguished alum, I mean, one thing I know about you, you have been very much engaged in the university after you graduated. Why is that important to you?
Well, Eastern has meant a lot to me. They gave me a chance as a junior in high school. I got a step to here. And I did not come immediately from high school to Eastern Michigan University. I went to an HBCU down in Alabama, Talladega College. And I was down there for 2 years. And wouldn't really say I got homesick, but I wanted to come back home, and I sent a letter to Eastern Michigan University about transferring, and they accepted me again.
They accepted you again, and now you're currently working in, I believe, in HR in Detroit.
In Romulus, actually.
In Romulus, Michigan.
Yes.
And what does that job entail?
It entails a lot. I mean, sometimes people refer to it as a high-priced babysitter, and that's a very interesting thing to say because you have to deal with so much. People have a lot of problems you don't want to know about. But the role requires you being involved and engaged with the people. It's all about employee relations, also about being a customer service rep to the employees.
So going back a little bit, what was your experience like as a student here at Eastern?
Probably too much fun at times, but I think the greatest experience is the networking aspect of it. I am still very close to a lot of friends I met while I was here. Same thing at Talladega College, but also very close with a lot of professors that I had as well as administrators. I'm fortunate to be able to say that I knew every president from back in 1984, from Dr. Porter all the way up to now, and I think that's important. You have to get to know your professors, your teachers, and I was not one to sit in the front of the classroom, but I spent time after class getting to know my professors. We didn't have a lot of things as it relates to TAs back then. So getting to know the professor was important because you get to know your professor. If you're on the borderline of a decent grade or a better grade, you get the benefit of the doubt because that person knows you.
Were you a part of any extracurricular groups while you were here?
I was a member of Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated, still am a member of Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated. We spent a lot of time, my fraternity, playing a lot of intramural sports. I was 2 years the 60-meter indoor champ for intramural, so a lot of people thought I was on the track team. And I ran track in high school, so I was a sprinter, but I just enjoyed the extracurricular activities as regards to sports as well as other things. I was a charter member of the first Greek Life Task Force here at Eastern Michigan University, one of only 4 from the Divine Nine organization, which are the Black Greek Life organizations, the only male from the Divine Nine organization, Kappa Alpha Psi. My relationship with Betty White at the time, as well as Les Bates, the assistant dean of students, helped me to get those roles.
So for any current students that might not currently be a part of anything, would you say that it is a beneficial thing to do extracurriculars while in college?
Yes, I definitely, without a doubt. We, as an HR professional, we look at the extracurricular things. We don't just look at someone that came to school, got a 4.0. You have to have some diversity. We want to see a well-rounded person. Yes, it's good to have that 4.0, but what did you do besides go to class? What friendships did you develop? What relationships did you develop with professors? And being in organizations does that for you, and it's very important to have that on your resume.
So I am currently in that process of I'm about to graduate. I don't exactly have a job lined up. Do you have any advice for that, like, post-graduation life of applying to jobs, and what kind of that process, what does it look like?
Well, Alex, I'm not sure if you are part of any organizations here on campus as it relates to what your career is. I was a part of the HASO, Health Administration Students of America. That was very important for me because going to conferences, getting to meet people from all over the country, getting to meet professionals from all over the country, it started the networking for me. And you have to get that networking in. I spoke a few times at the graduation as the president of the Alumni Association. The one thing I always spoke about was learn the art of networking. People fail to realize that the previous guest talked about it's not what you know, it's who you know. And getting to know people will go a long way.
Yeah, and I noticed, Eric, and I've known you, in full disclosure, I've known you for a while. You've actually come in and you taught one of my classes as well. You've been a guest lecturer in my classroom. But one thing I noticed about you, you're always giving back to Eastern Michigan. You're always reaching back to current students and talking to them. Why is that important to you? And what are you trying to communicate to those students that you're reaching back to, whether it's to your fraternity, whether it's independently, as an alum?
Well, it's very important. I'll be leaving here today to go do an HR networking event over at Student Center building with my fraternity. That's very important because one of the things I learned when I was in college is that college does not really prepare you for going to interviews. So they have to have that extra push to get them to understand the importance of a good resume, a decent email address, and very limited on the social media. We look at that now. And some of the things we see on social media, I mean, I wouldn't hire a person just based on what they post. I will not, if I see on a social media site someone with a beer can in their hand, someone smoking legal or illegal cigarettes, that just does not bode well.
Yeah, you know, Lex, that's pretty interesting what he's saying. We know that social media is very prevalent.
Definitely.
And a lot of students are using it all the time. I think you get some great advice. If you could give a couple more tips about social media, because I think, you know, again, Alexis has grown up with it, not me, you know, but she has. And talk to the other students who may be watching, younger folks who might be watching this show today, and give them some other tips of what they should and should not be doing with social media.
Well, what they
particularly
should,
as it relates to the job.
well, as it relates to a job, but if you already have a job, your boss or your manager, director, if you work for a company, do not be on your job posting from your job, particularly in the manufacturing industry, because in the manufacturing industry where I work, you have a lot of information that's proprietary information. So putting that stuff on social media, your competitor has an edge over you, and you never want to be posting that work. And we can always tell if you did it at work, what time it was, because all this stuff is date stamped now. I mean, I was in college yourself as well, Jeff Larkin and everyone else. We were in college when pretty much smoke signals was our social media. You know, that was our text messaging. And now everything is so convenient, and everyone wants to be the first to provide information about how they drank the most beer out of a bong. No, don't put that stuff on social media. You have to be very conscientious to understand that as professional as you can be all the time, be professional, because you never know who's looking or who's watching.
That's good advice. So for recent grads like me, other than, of course, like networking and being careful with your social media, do you have any more advice about like the job application process, like interviews and resumes, how those should look and act?
Well, not just the job application process. Say, for instance, you want to go to work at WXYZ. Reach out to someone there. LinkedIn is probably the best professional avenue of social media you can find. Everyone that is on LinkedIn has their name, their picture, their email address. reach out to Carolyn Clifford, say, this is my passion. I would like to come in to shadow you one day, and that goes a long way. Most people are willing to allow someone to come in and shadow them because it's also a way for them to say, I have done my part, that someone wants to come shadow me, and it's a pat on the back for them.
I love what you said earlier, Eric, as well about the connection to the professors. A lot of times students view professors as X and professors to students as Y. Talk about the importance of that relationship between the students and the professors and why students should reach out to them and have them as part of their support system.
Well, it's very important. As I stated, James Euchart, who was or still is a professor here in the Department of Communications and English. Richard Doug is a retiree. I still communicate with him on a regular basis, but they are able to provide not just advice for you in your career, but you may need a letter of recommendation for something. And to be able to go back to someone and say, would you mind writing a letter of recommendation? I do it a lot now, but I base my letter of recommendation based on what type of relationship I have with someone. What did they do to show me an interest in their field? And a lot of professors do that same thing. If you show a commitment to them, you show a passion for what you're trying to do or what you want to be, they will have no doubt writing a letter of recommendation for you. My first job I got while I was still in college, I worked out at Cranbrook. The letter of recommendations I got came from Betty White and Les Bates.
So I've already asked this question to Anthony. A lot of people will say that college is the best years of your life. Do you agree with that statement?
College was fun. High school was fun too, because I think the difference between high school as far as the 11th grade, 12th grade year and the formative years of college, it's all about making a name for yourself, getting to know people. And I think that's one of the best things that college provides for you. You go to a college, you're meeting people from not all over the state, but you're meeting people all over the country and all over the world. And it's very important to get to know people and learn about their cultures, because you never know, you might find yourself in India, China, anywhere, Africa, and it helps a lot.
Yeah, and I think the importance of certainly diversity is getting exposure to all different types of people is important, professionally as well as socially as well.
Correct, without a doubt. And one of the things that Eastern Michigan has provided for me is that opportunity to do that, meet people. Once upon a time, the first year center was the International Center. And that stayed open 24 hours, 365. And that was an opportunity to meet people from various countries, hang out with them, play intramural sports with them, and just learn about their culture. It makes you a more well-rounded person as well.
Eric Brown, I want to thank you very much for joining us and give us some outstanding advice here on EMU Today TV. Thanks very much. We appreciate it.
Oh, thanks for having me. Thanks, Alexis.
Thank
Good luck to you.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
This is your very last show. You have 15, or give you 10 seconds to say anything you'd like to say.
I just really appreciate this experience. ETV has meant a lot to me in my just years at Eastern, and I will hold it close to my heart.
All right, we wish you much continued success, and thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, and we thank you all for tuning in, and we will check you out next time on EMU Today TV. This is our last show for this particular academic year, and we will see you again in the fall in a not too distant future. Thanks.